Hi everyone, great to be back after a very busy month of moving and starting to settle in. I'm in my little Harry Potter cupboard under the stairs studio until I can get a new one built. So it's a little tight, but it's good. I'm lucky to have a space to work in, so that's all good. Vevor reached out to me and asked me to review one of their pottery wheels. So I said, sure, why not? I know a lot of potters in the YouTube community that have channels have already reviewed the Vevor. Different versions of the Vevor. I don't know if it's Vevor or Vevor. Anyway, so I deliberately did not watch their videos because I wanted to come at it fresh from my perspective. And so one thing I thought I would do is, I'll review the wheel in general. And then I'll make some recommendations for 3 different groups. So first one would be for people who have never done pottery before, but really want to try pottery. And then the second group would be beginner potters, people who are making pottery or maybe belong to a community studio or whatever, but are very early in on their pottery journey. So still lots of learning. I mean, the learning continues no matter how far in you are. And then the third group would be intermediate potters, and maybe I'll make some suggestions for what you could use the wheel for those different groups. But first, we gotta review the wheel. So I didn't open anything up. I thought you could do that with me. I'm gonna just lower you down here. So here's the wheel. I'm gonna be using this wheel here. I'll just turn it. I'm gonna be using this wheel as a tabletop wheel, mostly because I've been throwing standing up for the last probably 6 months. It has worked very, very well for me. So this is a great little wheel for that, but you could easily prop it up and have it as, you could easily put it on the floor, but you'd probably have to prop it a little bit and then have it as a sitting wheel. So here it is again, sorry. So the first thing it comes with is this book, and it has the model number, and it's got a little instruction booklet. So that's really helpful with all, different diagrams and all that kind of stuff, all the stuff you need, typical manual, which we all need. Then it also came with a few goodies, which I thought was kind of cool, actually. Little add-ons. So look, a little pottery tool set. It's great. It's got cutting wire. It's got a sponge. It's got a rib. It's got a pin tool. Lovely little stick tool. Very nice. It's awesome. And what's this now? This must just be a little bag for your tools, maybe. Bring scissors because I'm challenged when it comes to getting into plastic. Okay. Oh wow, it's an apron. That's awesome. Oh my God, I am always looking for aprons. I'm always so dirty. I am not a very tidy potter. What else we got here? What's in this? Now, if I can get this all set up, anybody can do it because, oh, look at this. Oh, this is awesome. If it's what I think it is. Look at that. A whole set of trimming tools. Oh, they're sharp. And sharp is good when you're trimming. But wow. That's a nice little perk. And look, they've got a little sharp, oops. See if I can get it. Can you see? They've got a really good sharp edge to them. Have to be careful. Quick way to cut a divot in your hand though. This is just the power cord. Whoops. Which we will figure out. And this last thing, I'm guessing this last thing might be legs so that you can adjust it. Yeah, it goes on the bottom of the wheel. And I wasn't going to use them. Actually, I don't think I will use them because this wheel height is almost perfect for me. So if I put these on, it's going to raise it up too much. But it is really nice to have this to play with. And there may be times when I do want to use it as a sitting wheel, or the table height I'm using will be different. So that's awesome. And this looks like it is attached to the machine. So it is the foot pedal. So that's great. Okay, I think that's it for everything that came in the package. So I'm going to put it together. The only thing I think I have to put together, because I don't want you to think I'm doing all sorts of, crazy stuff off camera. The only thing I have to do to put it together is to plug this into the inlet on this side of the wheel, and then plug it in, and I think it'll be good to go. And then we'll look at the controls together. So I'm going to take a little pause. Okay, guys. I just had a look at some of the controls. So this is really cool. It has, this is just your on-off here. And then it has, if you want it to be with the foot pedal, it's got a little green light there. But if not, you can turn this off and you can adjust just by these buttons here. Now, I personally would not do it this way simply because my hands are always full of goop. But it's a nice little feature for someone. If they're not able to use the pedal for whatever reason, then, you know, and sometimes we do throw at a certain speed and we maintain that speed, so that can vary quite a bit. So I'll just take this down. There we go. Put it back on. So when this green light's lit, then that means I'm ready to use the foot pedal. This is my reverse and forward button. So right now, I'm just going to press on the pedal. Oops. It is going clockwise. I spaz out a little bit here, but I think you have to hit this button twice, kind of. Now it's going counterclockwise. So I've mentioned this before. I am a lefty, but I throw like a righty, but I trim like a lefty. So this reverse button will be great for me. Or if you're a lefty and you throw left, that's great too. So it's time for us to give this a shot. Okay, I am set up and ready to throw. I did want to show you guys, hang on, I'm going to take you off the camera stand. Sorry, hope I'm not making you seasick. This is my rolling table. I wanted to show you guys, this is my rolling stainless steel table. They did not ask me to review this, and I bought this myself several years ago from Vevor. And at the time, I'd never heard of Vevor, and I was like, oh my God, is it going to be crap or whatever? But you know what? It's really nice quality. It rolls really smoothly, and it was the cheapest one I could find. And it has been invaluable in my studio, especially now that I'm in such a small space. I'm rolling it around all the time. For example, I've rolled it over here for this review so I can put some pieces on it. So just a little tidbit about that. Okay, I'm going to open the kit they gave me, and I'll use the throwing today. I probably just need the sponge, this throwing stick. In here. Holy cow. There we go. The stick, the sponge, and I think I'll try the wire tool too. Okay. That's generally the main things I use when I'm throwing. Oh no, and the rib. Good Lord. The rib. So, and here's the rib. Okay, now first thing I will say about this rib is it's not very flexible, so I probably will not use it. It's a nice little perk for them to add it. And there would be times if I was trying to encourage something to be really straight walled, but it's very sharp, as they all are. But I am going to use this rib, which is very flexible, because I use it to shape. I'm going to throw 3 cylinders. You're probably going to have a giggle because this foot pedal is fairly sensitive, and even on any wheel, it's kind of like learning how to use the clutch on a standard car, right? They're all different. So lots of speeding up and slowing down, I'm sure. Now, another thing I wanted to mention is I typically throw with batts. I like batts. They're your friend. Now, this wheel head does not come with batt pins. There's other options. Some batts don't use batt pins. You can just affix it to the wheel head however you want. I'm also going to link this looks like it's about an 11-inch wheel head. Hang on one sec. Okay, it's an 11-inch wheel head, and I measured my batt pins, and they are 10 inches apart. So I'm going to link a video. Vaughan Smith from Westcote Bell Pottery did a video a while back on how to add batt pins to these. So I will link that video for you. And as well, Lynn from Lynn Studios did a video on how to adjust your Giffen grip, if you have one, to this smaller wheel head size. So there's some great tips out there, and I'm not going to reinvent the wheel, but I will link them and you can check them out. So what I'm going to do is I have 3 balls of clay that I'm going to throw. I have a 300 gram, I have a 500 gram, and I have a 700 gram. Let's just to see how it deals with the different weights. She's speedy. And I'm just going to throw cylinders. Because I'm not throwing with batts, taking bowls off a wheel without a batt can be tricky. I'm going to stop here. Fix my thing to the wheel head, my piece of clay. Just making sure I'm getting a seal here. Speed pretty good. The wheel's not super loud, which is nice. I mean, it does have a noise, but you know, it's a wheel. Oh, so sad, this brand new clean wheel getting full of clay. Such is the life of a potter. Opening up the clay. So this is the 300 gram ball. So normally with a 300 gram ball, I would either be throwing wine cups or I would be throwing mini bowls. Now if I was throwing a heavy, and I'm not going to throw a heavy piece on this, but if I was throwing something heavier than 700 grams, I might just drop it an inch or 2 for me. It's just a tiny bit high. It's fine for something this size, and I'm just using my, this is not going to be a throwing video, but I am using my 2 fingers just to do that first pull to get the bulk of the clay up. And, oh gosh, I apologize. I should be, filming from the other angle, but anyway, if you saw my setup down here, it's pretty limited for space. So it's working quite nicely on the 300 grams, pulling nicely. I've got all the speed I need for that. Just do one more pull, maybe a little bit of a shake. So I'm just throwing like a little mini wine cup. I'm pressing the lip. Okay, now we're going to do ball of clay number 500 grams, number 2. Felt like it didn't affix. How many of you like to throw with bats? When I first started at the pottery studio, they taught us we weren't allowed to use bats. Number one, because they didn't have very many. And two, I guess they wanted us to learn the technique of wiring off without a bat. And I do it sometimes for really little things, but I just find it so easy to throw something on a bat, let it set up a little bit, and then come back to it and wire it off. And then you can manipulate it if you're trying to put some pattern in it or whatever. Then you can do that. So it's kind of my theory on that. So that feels pretty centered to me now. I want to touch you up, but I don't want to touch my phone with this dirty hands. Let's just take you up a little bit. There we go. Okay, so now we're just going to open up the clay. And of course, if you're not sure or comfortable with your depth when you're opening up, you can use a pin tool and stick that in there and see how deep your clay is. I usually just go by feel. I mean, I still occasionally mess up, of course, but I just find it faster. And unless I'm doing something like a big bowl where I want a really deep bottom so that I can carve it out on the other side, then that would be different. I would use a pin tool for that. Now, okay, so the 500 is working lovely, no problem. So for me, 500 grams would be like a bigger mug. Like I would probably be able to get, with 500 grams, I'd probably be able to get like an 18 to 20 ounce mug out of 500 grams. So this would be perfect for that. Absolutely no issues. This could be, I'm going to try this. This is the way to use that hand. So I took it off the foot pedal and I just put it on the hand thing. So that's a perfect thing for this. So when you're cleaning the slurry off a piece, that's excellent. Oh yeah, like that. When I changed it from foot pedal to hand speed, just a regular speed, there's just a button. It says hand tune. You just hit, or foot adjustment. You just hit that button. It turns it off, and then you just use your little up and down arrows for the speed of your wheel. So it works pretty good. Okay, so last one is a 700 gram. Whoops. 700 gram ball of clay. So you want to make sure. I'm getting a seal on this. So 700 gram, I think I would probably throw for that a vase, small vase. Flower pots would work for 700 grams. Obviously bowls and stuff, but I've already said I'm not going to do bowls. Speed's good. I mean, I'm not sure how it would do for, if you were going to do like a 2,500 gram or let's say like a 6 or a 7 pound bowl, but it might handle it no problem, because certainly it doesn't feel like it's going a whole lot slower than my wheel. But of course then there's the power of the motor as well. I don't throw a lot of huge pieces. I'll have days where I'll say, okay, today's big bowl day. But the demand for mugs, for me, is so high that I spend an awful lot of time making mugs. And I feel like at the 7, it's slowing down a tiny bit, but it's still more than enough speed for me to do it. So I think you could easily go, I want to say, if it was me, I probably wouldn't go much higher than 1,000 grams of clay on here, but really 1,000 grams of clay covers a lot of different things. So just centering, opening up the clay. and then slowly pulling open. And then compressing the floor of the cylinder. That's all I'm doing now. Collaring in. Now this, when you're collaring in, if you're kind of new to throwing, this is an opportunity if your clay has gotten a little off center to recenter. So basically you use this hand as a stabilizer and kind of push in. Then you use this part of your hand to come down and press down as this is pushing in. And that often will recenter the clay for you if you've gotten off center in that opening or just in your centering process. So I did this, it was a tiny bit off center, not bad. And I can feel it's gone back to center now, so that's good. Ended up using the handy dandy non-foot pedal method, which is awesome. So it goes up in increments of 5. So right now I'm at 65, which I think will be good. And I'm just cleaning the slurry and shaping a little bit too. All set. Now I did notice in the instructions it said to keep your wheel head clean whenever you're not using it so that it doesn't oxidize. I'm not sure if it oxidizes, if that impacts how it works, or if it's just an aesthetic thing. If anyone knows, please weigh in. I mean, my wheel that I use is oxidized because I don't always get a chance to clean it when I'm done. But if you like things to look new and shiny, then you should clean it after every use. Okay, so there is the vase, which you'll probably see in a future kiln opening. I'll get it off. Okay, so I'm gonna get cleaned up and I'm gonna gather my thoughts and give you some recommendations for people who have never done pottery before but would like to, with regards to this wheel. For people who are at a beginner level of pottery, and then people who are at an intermediate level. So I'll be back once I clean up a little bit. Okay guys, so I got cleaned up and I gave some thought to the wheel and what I wanted to say about it. So as I promised, I have some recommendations for people who have not tried pottery yet, beginner potters, and then of course intermediate potters, which I would consider myself an intermediate potter. So I would say if you have not tried pottery, or you've tried it but you're not really actively doing pottery and you really want to be able to try it, this wheel is a great buy for you. In Canada, I could get it to the door well under $500. When I wanted to get a wheel, I belonged to a local pottery studio and it was an hour away, and I still was going to stay at the studio, but I wanted to be able to throw it home and learn more. And I had all sorts of crazy ideas of what I could do to make a wheel. That wheel wasn't available then. I absolutely would have bought it. It's a great entry-level wheel. And by the time I bought my wheel, I think my wheel when I bought it, it was under 1,000 Canadian. I'm talking Canadian dollars here. I looked it up before I came back on the video, and it is now just under $2,000. That's before taxes, which is another 15%, and shipping. So this wheel is a great option if you really want to try out pottery. And then, you know, if it's not for you, or you want to move up to the next level of wheel, then you can sell it. So it's like, it's low risk for sure. Beginners who maybe belong to a studio, or are just kind of learning at home but don't have a wheel yet, absolutely. Once again, this is a great entry-level wheel for you. It's affordable, it's low risk. It seemed quite a sturdy little wheel. I was really happy with how it performed. And I don't think, you know, once again, if you felt down the road you didn't want it anymore, you could sell it or whatever. So very low risk again. So once again, high recommendation for beginner potters. So wannabe potters, beginner potters, great wheel, absolutely great wheel. Intermediate potters. Now, I could see lots of applications for myself. And maybe you guys can think of some things I'm not thinking of, but one would be I do demonstrations sometimes, and I've been hauling my wheel to different locations for demonstrations for the local art festivals and that kind of thing, and it's a pain. This wheel is much lighter, much more compact, and I wouldn't feel as bad about moving it around, because I always worry about a heavy wheel, like am I going to hurt it doing that? But this one I think would handle it beautifully. I also hate switching clay colors. So if I have like a dozen mugs I have to make in one color of clay, but I'm working in another color of clay, it would be a great option to have a wheel that would just be doing other clay colors. So I absolutely would use it for that as well. And then almost all potters have people who are always asking them, could you teach me? I really want to try pottery, you know, that kind of thing. So I would recommend it for them as well. So overall, I think it's a really good buy. There's some links in the description where you can click on and find out about how you would purchase it and that kind of thing. But I would have no hesitation recommending the wheel. So if you have any questions, just comment below and I'll be sure to respond. Take care, everyone. See you next time.